Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Herik Sanjaya from 5BD English Department. Today, I would like to presentations about the interpretations of the data. Let's begin. This is the table of contents. First one is the definition of the data interpretations. The second one is the summarizing of the data. And the third one is displaying of the result. First, about what is the interpretation of the data. Data interpretation is the process of the reviewing data through some predefined process which will help the assign some meaning to the data and arrive a relevant of the conclusion. It involves of the taking the result of the data analysis and making the inference on the relation of the study and using term to conclude. So therefore, before one can solve about the interpreting data, they need to be analyzed first. What is then the data analysis? Uh, the second one is about the summarizing of the data. Why do we summarize? We summarize the data to the simply the data and quickly identify what looks normal and what looks too odd. The distribution of the variable, so what the value the variable takes and how often the variable takes the values. This is the most usable ways of describing of distribution of the data. The first one is about the typical. The typical, it is the describe the center or the middle of the data. This way of describing the center is also called the measure of the central tendency. And the second one, it is the spreads of the values around the center. It is described how decently the data is distributed around the center. This is also called a measure of dispersion. After that, we must know what is the data types. Data is the stored as different types, which are sometimes referred to as the level of measurement. We need to understand the type of data because it's helps us to figure out how to properly summarize. There are the three types of the data. First is about the categorical of nominal. What is the categorical of nominal? These are the data that have the several categories and are not numerical. For example, gender, ethnic, constituency, and others. And the second one is the ordinal. Ordinal, these are the data with the categories that go in a specific order in or rank. And the third one is the continuous or interval. These kinds of the data has the continuous range of number. All data values are possible. This is for the summaries of the data. And summaries the data mean and median. What is mean? Mean and median are the measure of the central of the tendency. Means they provide the average of the set of the value, but for the medians provide the midpoints of the set of the value. Next, about the displaying of the result. One of the best practice of the data interpretations is the visualizations of the dataset. Visualizations makes it easy for the layman to understand the data and also to encourage people to view the data. It is provide a visually a feeling of summary of the data. There are bar graphs. What is bar graph? Bar graphs are the graphs that interpret the relationship between two or more variables using the rectangular bars. These rectangular bars can be drawn either vertically or horizontally. There are some types of the bar graphs for the highlight below. First, it is about the group bar graphs, and the second one is stack bar graph and a segmented bar graph. Next, pie chart. Pie chart is the circular graphs used to represent the percentage of the occurrence of the variable using the sector. This size of each sector is dependent on the frequency of the percentage of the corresponding of variables. For example, in this pie chart, there are the total 50 students in a class, and out of them 10 students like the football, 25 students like the snookers, and the 15 students like the badminton. This is for the simple 5 card, donuts 5 card, and a 3D 5 card. Next, about the table. What is table? Tables are used to represent statistical data by placing them in rows and columns. They are one of the most common statistical visualization of the technique and are two main types, namely the simple tables and the complex tables. Uh, Usually, simple table is the has the characteristic in their table, but for the complex table, it is for the data is very complete of the data. Next, line graph. Line graph or the card are the types of graph that display of the information as a series of the points, usually connected by the straight line. Some of the types of line graph are the highlight of the below. First one is the simple line graph, and the second one line graph with marker, and the third one is stacked line graphs. Okay, this is my presentation. I'm sorry if I do mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.